I'm Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern. I use the pronouns she or they, and I just want to explain that this is the only thing in the service that will be happening predictably. What we are going to do in today's service is have the order of service elements in these boxes. Be calling up volunteers or calling people from on Zoom and saying, which box should we open here? And you open up a box. Some of them have 2 slips in them. If that is the case with your box, just pick out one blindly, and that is what we will do next. This goes along with our theme of mystery. I am just returning after 6 months of sabbatical, so there's a little sense of who are we now and what have we known. What have we learned? You might notice I'm greatly, that's not me, is it? Greatly rejuvenated. I've broken out in lovely new green leaves due to my lovely time off. So the only other thing that I think I forgot, we may discover something else I forgot, but I am sorry, dear folks online, I forgot that the order of service is how you get the lyrics to our music. And we don't know our music until we get to something called song, and somebody from the congregation suggests a song on our theme of mystery, discovery, the unknown. So you can be thinking about those now. So I have a fix for that, folks online. If you go to a website, you can open that on a window now if that's possible with your tech. Farfringe, all one word, farfringe.com. There is a minister there, Reverend Kimberly Debus, who has written about every hymn. She writes very interesting things about them, but she also writes the lyrics every time. So you can just look by the number there if you need the lyrics to sing along. So I believe we need a volunteer to come up and open a box. Stephen, will you open a box? Oh, and we are trying to be, of course, mindful of the earth. Come on up, Stephen. I've wrap them so that you don't need to tear the paper off. You can just open a lid or take the lid off, and so we can reuse these at some time. So what'll it be? All right. You should be able to just...
Welcome back.
Thank you. See that just opens like this?
Oh, you get to use this
Here, you
gift wrapping all over again.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's the idea. Pull one out for us.
Okay.
Is there another one in there, or are we done?
There's 2 in here.
Okay.
I didn't look.
Great, somebody else will pick that. What are we going to do? Song, right away. We need to choose a song. Thank you, Stephen.
Well, since I did all the work, do I choose the song?
You can. Do you have one along the theme?
Oh, God.
Unless somebody else comes up with an idea first.
Blue Boat?
Blue Boat Home? Shall we sing Blue Boat Home?
Or unless somebody else wants a better song.
I think we're going to go with that suggestion. So Blue Boat Home, which is all about wonder, so it's a great choice. Thank you. It is in your teal hymnal, and it is number, I don't have them all memorized, at least not after 6 months, 1064. Folks are looking online, farfringe.com. Look for 1064 in her search, and you will find it.
I think it might be farfringe.net.
Okay. 1064, please rise in body or spirit, and we'll sing together. volunteer to open another box. And by the way, kids, we'll make sure you don't have to stay here for like the whole sermon and 17 songs and everything before you go to Sunday school. We'll make sure that happens. Yes, come on up. Open a box for us. Stephen said there's another one in that one, or pick a new one. I know it's a little late for Christmas and Hanukkah, but you know.
Celebrate every day.
We celebrate every day. What's that? Thank you. It's always a holiday, just one. It is time for the offering. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much. We do know what is going to be sung for the offering. Jim decided that already. He just didn't know when it would be. So let me tell you a little about the offering. Wherever we are today, we've chosen to be together, whether via online from very far away or close by or right here in this room. We've chosen to be together because we hope that together we can do much more to make our lives into all that we dream of and make our world into the one that we hope to see than we could do on our own. If we're moved by gratitude to each other for this relationship, we may choose to support with whatever financial resources we can this community. You can use cash or check or the QR code or text info that's at the end of your order of service or online. The offering will now be given and received while Jim sings for us.
The only bridge that's not mentioned in this is the one that I look forward to when I meet someone, and it's a handshake. I hope we can come back to that someday soon. There are bridges, bridges in the sky. They are shining in the sun. They are stone and steel and wood and wire. They turn two things to one. They are languages and learning, poetry and all. They are love and understanding, and they're better than a wall. They are languages and learning, poetry and all. They are love and understanding, and they're better than a wall. There are canyons, they are yawning in the night. They are rank and bitter anger, they are all devoid of light. They are fear and blind suspicion, apathy and pride. They are dark and so foreboding, and they're oh so very wide. They are fear and blind suspicion, apathy and pride. They are dark and so foreboding, and they're oh so very wide. Let us build a bridge of music, let us cross it with a song. Let us span another canyon, let us write another song. And if someone should ask us where we're off and bound today, we will tell them building bridges and be off and on our way. And if someone...
I see somebody. Eloise, come on up. Okay, which one will it be? Now, again, you don't have to tear the paper off. They just open right up. What have we got there?
Story for all ages.
Story for all ages. Thank you. Is Reverend Cat in the house?
I'm here.
Hey, hey. Okay.
Happy Epiphany.
Good timing.
Join us on our happy quilts. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
So this morning I have a tale about a particularly cold day, like today. But in our story, it's snowing. So let's hear the story of One Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. All right. So one winter morning, Peter woke up and he looked out his window. Snow had fallen through the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. So after breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up so high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out like this, like a penguin. And he walked with his toes pointing out like that. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. And then he found something sticking out of the snow to make a new track. And what was it? It was a stick. And so a stick that was just for perfectly to smack a big old tree covered in snow. And so if they click, we'll see the snow fall. Oh, there it comes. Whoa. And then next, guess what happened? Gravity. Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head. Well, then he thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight. But he knew he wasn't old enough yet. So, after the snowball fight, he made a smiling snowman. And he made snow angels. And then after that, he pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed a great big tall mountain and slid all the way down. If we click, there he goes. Whee! And then he picked up a handful of snow and another and still another, and he packed it firm and round, and he put the snowball. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so he went home to his mother, and he said, "Mom, I had such a fun day." And Mom said, "Boy, Peter, your socks are soaked." Well, Peter, he had taken a handful of snowball, and he put a snowball into his pocket for tomorrow. And he told his mother all about the adventures, and he thought about them. And before he went to bed, though, he went back to check on that snowball in his pocket. What do you think happened? Ah, man, yeah. So he went to bed a little bit sad. But when he woke up, his dream was gone, but the snow was still everywhere, and new snow was falling. And so after breakfast, across the hall to his friend, he called, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow to have yet another snowy day. So gifts and precious moments are truly everywhere, even on an ordinary day. So my friends, thank you so much for listening to my story today. We will listen. I think what we're going to do is we'll take all our friends who are going to RE. Why don't you rise in body or spirit right now? Rise in body, please. And we'll go out into the lobby and head off to RE. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we may or may not have a song coming to ease you out. So let's find out what is going to happen next. We have somebody who wants to, Jane, come on up. I think the one that Eloise opened is empty now. Okay. So many presents. We thought they were all gone. Teeny tiny one with a little rose on top. Another song. Anybody have any? You usually have them right there in your head, complete with the numbers. I know this rose will open.
Another rose song. Come sing a song.
Come sing a song with me. Bruce, we may hold on to that one because we have one more song coming later in the service. Okay. Is that empty now? Yes. Okay. I don't want anybody to open an empty box. That would be so sad. Come, Whoever You Are, which is 346. No, I'm sorry. Come Sing a Song with Me, number 346. And I forgot. We have many of the slides already, as we did last time, so I bet we have a lyric slide of this one. Thank you, our quick-witted tech folks. Please rise and body your spirit. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when home is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come sing a song with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when home is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Who is going to pick us the next element? Somebody online, do you have a box you want me to open? Tell me which one and I'll open it for you. Can people unmute? I don't know if people can unmute or write in the chat. Let's see. Something just got fixed by the tech team. Thank you, tech team. The big blue one in the middle. This one, right? Okay. There we go. It has two, so I'll just pick out one. I, kind of ran out of boxes when I was doing all this, so. Another song. I Know This Rose Will Open. Shall we? Our very own music director suggested that. It's about mystery. I forget what number it is. Whoever gets there first will tell us what number it is. I know. You may know it, but not everybody. 396 meaning it's in the gray hymnal. Please rise if you are comfortable rising and sing out. I Know This Rose Will Open. This is a real short one. It's like a round and everything. How about we say we'll sing it 3 times, or we'll leave it to the workings of the mysterious Veronica, and when she brings it to a close, we'll stop. I know my fear will burn away. I another volunteer. Oh, come on up. Indigo, you can do it. Harry will do the next one. Okay, Harry can do it. Everybody's very gracious. I think we've had it for songs, except for Jim, of course, and the choir. What do we got? Thank you.
Sermon.
It's time for the sermon. Okay, then. I got one of them. So, what page, Tamara just asked? Well, here in my little book, it's about 10 or so. So, I did not know what holiday this was, although, as somebody pointed out, there's always something to be celebrating. But yesterday was Epiphany, called King's Day, or Three Kings Day, although we don't really know whether the Magi were kings. Don't tell the folks in New Orleans that, because we would not want to lose king cake, which I have learned is really something to experience. It's called, January 6th is actually a day for gift giving in some traditions, because what did the Magi do when they came to Jesus? They brought gifts. Now, in case you're wondering why that is on January 6th, well, that's the 12th day of Christmas. And some people celebrate the fact that it seems that in the story, the idea is the Magi actually did not arrive the very first night that Jesus was just born, along with the shepherds and the angels singing and everything. When Jesus was born, they saw the star and they followed it. Some say they were astrologers or astronomers. Some say they were wizards. Again, some say they were royal personages. What seems clear from the story is they are supposed to have been wise people. And it took them time to travel. So you'll see them in the creche or in our no rehearsal Christmas pageant, everybody together, because we like to kind of condense the story and have all the exciting elements of the story in one place. Some people, if they have a creche, they'll move the Magi a little closer each day until they arrive on the 12th day of Christmas, and then they pack it all up the next day. And in our no rehearsal Christmas pageant, we put them all here so we can see everybody together, the whole story, in the 1 hour that we have. So the day that the Magi come, as well as being called King's Day, is called Epiphany. Epiphany is just the Greek word for a manifestation, a surprise, something that comes suddenly into view. And I thought that a good start to our year, to our 20th anniversary celebration, this week also being the 20th anniversary of my installation here, and then, of course, a return together to discover who we've become over the last several months, would be to have these mystery gifts. We give a lot of weight in this culture, and perhaps particularly in this very smart, Unitarian Universalist, highly educated Silicon Valley culture. We give a lot of weight to knowledge. Children, like Peter in the story, children are supposed to explore. Their ignorance is charming. They're just learning things like if you whack a tree with snow all over it, you know, the snow might fall right down on your head. And we kind of figure, well, over the years in which we grow up, we've accumulated experience, some knowledge about how the world works, how we work, how other people behave, and so we're not so surprised. And that's great. All that knowledge and experience are so useful. I mean, what would we do without them? We'd be creating from scratch all the time. We'd be like little children being surprised all the time. We learn from our experience. And so knowledge is a wonderful, wonderful thing. But when I say we give a lot of weight to it, I mean weight. Like it starts to feel like a weight sometimes. Because it seems to be difficult for us to both treasure knowledge and treasure unknowing, treasure ignorance. As I say, charming in a child, not so much in an adult. But why isn't it? You know, when we got to the knowledge we have by being curious and by acknowledging that the world was full of things we didn't know yet, and if we give too much weight to knowledge, we start to not want to let anybody, even ourselves, know that there are things we don't know. And everybody knows that the reason children and other people who are very open to learning do learn so much is because they know there's a lot they don't know. The other great thing about knowledge, of course, is that it takes us to the edge of a new unknown. And if we get too attached to knowing, then instead of looking to the unknown that our knowledge has brought us to, we just stay where we're safe. You know, we do the things we already do well. We stay in a comfortable situation, relationships we already know, friends we already know, books we've already read, and so on. And it's like the Buddhist saying, you know, the teaching is a finger pointing to the moon. Look at the moon, not the finger. The knowledge has brought us this far. Look where it's pointing us. It's pointing us to somewhere we haven't been yet. And again, all that comfort and familiarity, they're all great in their place. But if they take up so much room that we don't have room to look around and say, but what do we, now that we're at the edge that we couldn't have imagined we were at 10, 20, 40, 50 years ago, what can we discover? Well, that would be sad. I think it's been a mistake for adulthood to be portrayed as the time of knowledge, of experience gained. That's only half the story. The other half is all of that greater vision, sensing of what is unknown to us, the mountains that we can only see because we've climbed that high. Now, in a culture that treasures knowledge, we don't think much of the saying, ignorance is bliss. And I don't think we should. I mean, the idea that, oh, we're better off not knowing things, that's not usually true. But what if we turn that expression and viewed it from another angle? Ignorance is the sign that something awaits us just out of our sensing. And how exciting that is, that moment of about to discover. I'm going to put on my snowsuit and go out into the snow and see what happens when I walk this way or drag a stick or hit a tree or try to play snowball fights with the big boys. The unexpected. Like what's in the box. That's where life gets exciting. That's why we wrap presents, because the pleasure of that moment of what's in there is one of the great pleasures of adult as well as child life. We see that in the realm of scientific discovery, artistic discovery, the things that the Webb telescope shows us that we only imagined or couldn't imagine are all because somebody said, but what's out there that I don't know yet, that I don't even know I don't know? That's a lot of what I got to do with my 6 months. Try to spend some time in places of unknowing. And that can take so many forms, in addition to science and hiking and making works of art. The beginning of a friendship is a time of great unknowing. Will I even really like this person when we get to know each other better? I don't know. I'll just have to try and find out. And it's uncomfortable. But That's how we met everybody we're friends with now. The beginning of a love, of a romance. I don't know where this is going. Could be heartbreak, could be disappointment. But one of the most exciting things in life is that adventure of not knowing, that moment of mystery. That's where we meet. Ezra Jack Keats in that story shows us the delight of being open to amazement, like living in an inner city and suddenly there are mountains and you can be a mountaineer in the streets. It is complete coincidence that book and that author had a huge influence on me and are undoubtedly one of the reasons that I grew up into somebody who could not stop making art. Kat did not know that when she suggested it, but I told her as soon as she did. She just chose it because she thought it was a great theme for a great story for Epiphany, that openness to Epiphany. And there's nothing to suggest in the story that it's the first time that Peter has seen snow. He's done this stuff before, and yet it's all new. It's all worth discovering. And so he has a marvelous day full of wonders. Mary Oliver, the poet, wrote that she hoped when she died she would be able to say, "All my life I was a bride married to amazement." I didn't hear what she said on her deathbed, but I suspect, having read her poetry and heard her words, yes, she could say exactly that. She is a prophet of amazement. And she goes on to say, I was the bridegroom taking the world in my arms. They're the same thing. We can't embrace the world with the joy of a newlywed if we take the attitude of, oh yeah, I know that already. It's always in those moments of mystery, discovery, a little discomfort of being in an unknown situation, an unknown place, that we can be amazed. It doesn't have to be big things either. It can just be a plant in our garden that we never looked at closely before. I understand that once scientists, at least physicists, seriously thought we had made all the important discoveries in that field, done and dusted. Maybe some still do. Doesn't appear to be the case. But even if we had, even if we'd worked out all the big questions of the workings of the universe, we would still have the mystery of each person. We can never really completely know another person. There's something about what happens in here and in here that even our words, even our music and art and dance and poetry can't quite convey. We can never be sure if we have expressed ourselves to a friend, even one who says, "Oh, I know exactly what you mean." Do they? Or are they hearing something different than what we said? And likewise, we understand the people we know best, and yet we don't know exactly what's going on in there. And then there's the other mystery going along with that. That despite that ultimate impossibility of communicating all of who we are and what we think and how we feel, we do understand each other. We do have love and friendship and communities like this. We find a way to communicate profoundly over that gulf, to build the bridges of understanding, even when they seem impossible. Something that gives me hope as we look across to Gaza and other places that are just tormented by the deepest kinds of misunderstandings and disagreements. That paradox of how hard it is to communicate with each other and how we seem to do it anyway, that's another one of the mysteries I explored during this time you granted me. And now we reunite to share what has happened in our absence from each other, what we've discovered, how we have changed. I think it's good to just notice this moment of unknowing, to revel in it a little, to notice the surprises between one another whenever we talk, the disappointments which tell us, oh, I expected something. I thought this was known, but in fact it was not as known to me as I thought. I think it's really good for us as Unitarian Universalists to notice that, because I think UUism as a whole is a little in love with knowing, to the exclusion sometimes of unknowing. This is a tradition that was born of the Enlightenment. This is something else I've been thinking about a lot, and you'll probably hear about it a lot more from me over the next couple of years. It was a wonderful time in human existence, the movement in Western Europe known as the Enlightenment, where philosophy and science and all sorts of exploration, some very destructive, but some just opened our lives to all sorts of knowing. Oh, we can explore the physical world in all of these new ways and have all this new understanding. And it leads to a whole other understanding of our nature. This was the milieu in which this tradition began to arise. So it's no surprise that we have this marvelous, heady sense of what humans can know. We are amazing when we start to explore and we use our minds and we use our senses. But then, do we get attached again to the finger and forget that the reason that's so thrilling is because it brings us into encounter again and again with something we don't yet know and may never understand. You know, to a child, adults are the ones who know, in contrast to their own ignorance of the world. And then we reach adolescence and we discover, hey, we can be the knowers too. That's pretty cool. I know all this stuff that I did not understand at all just a few years ago. And believing that we know it all and are now free of ignorance is sometimes an adolescent's idea of what it means to be grown up. But to really grow up is this: to realize that there's still as much to learn as ever, and that in fact, the more we know, the more we see we have yet to uncover, and we'll never discover it all before we breathe our last breath. So much to explore, so much of which we are still ignorant in that wonderful way. I think that Unitarian Universalism can be stuck in early adolescence sometimes. We sit on that peak of knowledge, and I'm speaking as a movement, where we are, what we value as a tradition. We sit up there on that peak of knowledge and say, wow, look at all the things I've done. And we don't embrace the whole process of wondering and being willing to face the mystery, being willing to open a box with no idea what's in there and go with it. That got us there in the first place. Because knowledge, you know, it's seductive and it's comforting. And you get tired always saying, I don't know, I don't know. But in the end, maturity means moving on to new unknowns and realizing that they'll never end. The reason I think I look around and see we're a little stuck is I see that we're uncomfortable with mysterious sorts of encounters, with experiences that sound mystical and that we don't have an explanation for, or with moments in worship or in conversation where we're just overcome by something that seems beyond our control, a sense of emotion, a sense of meaning, and we don't know where it's going. We're just on this great big wave. And as a religious tradition, we tend to step away from those moments. I can go back to the known. I can explain this. I can have a safer conversation. I can have worship that I don't get lost in ecstasy. And I think part of the reason is we're afraid of mystery. Because it's a little scary to step into the unknown. I mean, I promise you there's nothing in here other than the pieces in our order of service. You just don't know when they're going to be. But, you know, the world is full of more confusing things than that. There's an idea in history and philosophy that modernism, that other child of the Enlightenment, disenchanted the world. That we used to live in a world that seemed magical. We didn't have explanations for things like a rainbow, for example. And when we did, we were literally disenchanted. And I know that right here we are in a room full of people with a fabulous sense of wonder and discovery. And yet, if it's part of our culture, Unitarian Universalism and modernism and so on, we need to watch out for that. Oh, or have we grown disenchanted? Have we forgotten how magical and miraculous things are? If only because we will never comprehend them. There might be an explanation out there somewhere, but it won't come in our lifetimes or be comprehensible to human beings. So I've been thinking, too, a lot about the idea of re-enchantment. A disappointingly difficult book by a theologian mentor of mine, David Ray Griffin. I tried to read it during my sabbatical, and I'm going to try again. The title was just so marvelous. It was called, if I can remember it correctly, something like Re-enchantment Without Superstition. And the idea of, can we have a mature religion that takes into account all the things we've learned, all the things that reason and science and our own senses reveal to us, but still be enchanted? He says yes, so I'm going to figure out how. Or else I'll figure out another way. For me, one of those ways is art. We'll see. So I just want to close with one, the retelling of a story that Jane Dwinell told right here. She is a minister, now retired, a friend of mine who gave the sermon at the installation service that formally plugged me in and made me your minister. Amy is installed, January 4th, 2004. We'd actually been working together for some months at that time. But that installation is the time when we shared a covenant, we sang together of what we hoped for, and Jane gave a sermon called Radical Hospitality. And in it, she told a story of, well, I'll give it to you in her words, because she told it well. The old Hebrew story about the monastery that had fallen on hard times. There were only a handful of elderly monks, and no young men wanted to join their ranks. One day, the abbot went to visit his old friend, the rabbi, to read scripture together and talk. The abbot poured his heart out to his friend, the rabbi, and spoke of the dying monastery. And the rabbi listened carefully. They sat in silence. They prayed together. And as they parted, the rabbi spoke. One of you is the Messiah. And the abbot wondered what he could possibly mean by that. Now, the abbot and rabbi both knew literally what he meant, so I'll explain if you don't know the Messiah. Messiah is the figure in both Judaism and Christianity who will usher in an era of goodwill. Some say when evil cannot happen, when everybody prospers, when the lion lies down with the lamb, in the words of Isaiah. In Christianity, the thought is that Jesus was the Messiah and will return. Jews say the Messiah has yet to come. Well, the Messiah is someone you look for and wait for and prepare for. So when the abbot returned to the monastery, he shared with the monks the rabbi's parting words. "One of you is the Messiah. How could that be? Brother Eldred is so grumpy, and Brother Philip, well, he's pretty boring. Brother Thomas is a holy man. Maybe it's him. Or the abbot. He's the abbot after all. Then there's me," the novice monk might think. But, what if it's me? Maybe it's me. Too much to think about. In prayer and in meditation, each monk considered the possibility that the Messiah was among them, and in daily life began to treat one another better, with respect and care, because, well, maybe one of them was the Messiah. And lo and behold, the place began to bloom, filled as it was with care and love and respect. People began to be attracted to the place, to come and picnic with their families or to stop by the chapel to pray. Young men began to ask to join the monks, and after a few years, the monastery was a joyful, light-filled place, providing sanctuary, hope, and love to many. Now, obviously, Jane was telling us this story and the whole idea of radical hospitality to encourage us to be welcoming. And yes, we could describe the past 20 years as an opening of our hearts and our doors, a learning together of how to be more and more welcoming. It's been hard and interesting and full of disappointments and a spiritual journey complete with switchbacks and dead ends and moments of sheer delight. But also, this story and this journey are about mystery. They never know who the Messiah is. They never will know. We will never know. We will never know what there is to be discovered in one another. There is no end to discovery, as long as we don't slam a lid on the box and declare an end to it. And so Jane shared about her life as a minister, and before that, her life as a midwife, and what it was like to welcome a new person into this world, and how the parents and everybody have these dreams and hopes for this baby. Maybe the baby will be like this. Maybe they'll grow up to be like that. And she says, it's all a crapshoot. It's all a mystery. It's all a mystery. And that unknowing between any two people when they meet, before they shake hands or bump elbows, that is that marvelous time of unknowing where the really amazing things, everything else that is amazing, arises. I wonder what's next. Who would like to come? Fran, come on up and find out what happens after this sermon. We've already had the offering. We've had all our songs. But Brian hasn't spoken. We haven't had all of Jim's songs. Brian hasn't spoken. He has a reading to share. We haven't even lit our chalice yet. Most commonly asked question about this service, what if we extinguish the chalice before we light it? Speaking of mysteries, that has not happened yet. Fran has chosen us the reading. Thank you. Brian, come on up. The reading.
Good morning. I'm Brian Weller, and he's a he.
Can we hear Brian?
This is...
Hold on. Do a little test. I don't think they've got it.
Hi. Hello. Hi, Byron. Okay. This was written by the Reverend Gordon McKeeman. How does one address a mystery? Cautiously. Let us go cautiously, then, to the end of our certainty, to the boundary of all that we know, to the rim of uncertainty, to the perimeter of the unknown which surrounds us. Reverently, let us go with a sense of awe, a feeling of approaching the powerful holy whose lightning slashes the sky, whose persistent splits concrete with green sprouts, whose miracles are present in every place and every moment. How does one address the mystery? Hopefully, out of our need for wholeness in our own lives, the reconciliation of mind and heart, the conjunction of reason and passion, the intersection of the timeless with time. Quietly. For no words will explain the inarticulate or the summon the presence that is always present even in our absence. But what shall I say? Anything. Any anger, any hope, any fear, any joy, any request, any word that comes from the depth of being addressed to the being itself, or perhaps to nothing. No complaint, no request, no entreaty, no thanksgiving, no praise, no blame, no pretense of knowing or of not knowing. Simply be the intimate presence of mystery, unashamed, unadorned, unafraid. And at the end, say, Amen. So at the end, say, Amen.
We may be calling you back up here. We need somebody to open a box. Somebody online want to pick a box? Oh, Brian wants to pick a box. I'll get you an online next. Oh, and Indigo was in line. I keep bumping you, sorry, honey. A tiny little thing needs attention. You're so kind, Brian. It's got 2 in there, that tiny little box. Remind me. Wave next time.
Welcome and announcements.
Welcome and announcements. Would you welcome us, Brian? I believe that's you.
Is that me?
No, is it you?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, I can't remember.
I don't have it.
All right, I've got him. Good morning. I did already tell you who I am and what my pronouns are, and I hope that I have made it clear that you are very welcome here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Palo Alto. Let you know that masks are not required but are strongly encouraged. Got a wave of winter diseases right now, including COVID and other things. We express our mutual respect by supporting each other's decisions about masking and distancing and other health measures. So if somebody's good shaking hands, you can both say, good shaking hands. And if not, if you don't both like it, you won't. If you're here in person and you have questions about Unitarian Universalism or this congregation, stop by the welcome table with the blue tablecloth and chat with our membership engagement coordinator, John Wright. You can leave your contact information if you want to receive notifications of upcoming events. And if this is the week you want to join the congregation, you can also do that there today. If you're online, there's at least one person associated with the Membership and Growth Committee that can help you through all those things, and will reach out to you and be able to connect you in any way that you're looking to connect. There's lots of announcements there in your order of service of stuff coming up. Please stay after the service for a celebration of our shared ministry for the last 20 years. And of my return from sabbatical. I hear there will be cake. You see, it's never too late to learn that. It doesn't have to be at the beginning. Indigo, where's she gone? We'll get her in a minute. Somebody online, pick a box. The big blue box that was chosen before still has something in it, so do all these other things. What do we got? Anybody got one they want?
Put it in the chat. The box with the stocking on it. We got 2 of those. One that we opened before, so I'll give this one a chance. I'm thinking, Joy and Indigo, that we can, use these for future wrapping. Just put our presents in them if they fit. So we don't have to waste wrapping paper. It's time for the prelude. Jim, would you help us begin our service, please?
Is this the beginning of the end?
Yes. Or the end of the beginning.
I think just prior to your leaving on sabbatical was when my granddaughter was born. And so I have joined that group of people that have a very positive outlook on the future. Victoria is 7 months old. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the skiers turn, the swimmers churn, the lovers burn. Peace may the generals learn when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Sweet may the fiddle sound, the banjo play the old ode down. Dancers swinging round and round when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Fresh may the breezes blow, clear may the streams flow, blue above, green below when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Well, may the world go, the world go, the world go. Well, may the world go when I'm far away. Good singing.
Morgenstern, would you like to open a box? Yeah? Want to tell us what's in it?
Chalice lighting. Chalice lighting.
It is time to light the chalice. Thank you, thank you. I wonder if our candle is still burning. Yes, it is. Okay. I believe Brian has some words. You can keep it. You don't have to keep it.
These are from an author named Sarah York. We receive fragments of holiness, glimpses of eternity, brief moments of insight. Let us gather them up for the precious gifts that they are, and, renewed by their grace, move boldly into the unknown.
It's interesting to see it in another order, isn't it? I missed our chalice. I've missed it for 6 months, and then I was like, when are we going to light it? Do we have somebody who would like to open a box? Come on up, Castor. Gosh, we'll move along here.
Sung benediction with chalice extinguishing.
Well, listen. You had your moment.
Thank you.
Veronica, would you open the box for us? What's in there?
Reflection.
A reflection. I believe. Thank you.
You'll be very pleased to know that this is my shortest reflection. And it's part of the mystery because I just found this mystery package, which is addressed to Amy.
That was very short. That's it?
This is not what Brian told me he was going to do. Mysteries are everywhere. Oh, now that's lovely. And now, a word from our board. Mystery upon mystery. Whoop. Hello, board.
Hello. I'm not actually on the board, but today marks 20 years of Sundays with Amy as our parish minister. Her first service in that role was on Sunday, January 4th, 2004. There are a number of us who have been here for Amy's full tenure, and as one of that number, I was asked by our board president, Buzz Fraun, to say a few words to mark the occasion. Aside, I was at the cocktail party where we had the first meet and greet with Amy, and that was at someone's house. It was a beautiful occasion full of mystery and excitement. But continuing, Buzz is traveling, but he passed along several reflections from folks who have known Amy for all or some of that time. Here are some of those remarks. By the way, I did not put these together, so I cannot tell you who wrote each one. It will just have to be a mystery. Amy is flexible, open, warm, and inviting so much of the time. And then, in moments when people and principles need defending, her warrior spirit arrives, sharp and unflinching. The thing I appreciate most about Amy is that she empowers people and gives them permission to say no when that is the right thing to do. I have grown as a leader under her watch. Amy has always been supportive of the UU Green Sanctuary Committee's efforts. I'm grateful for that. My very first service at UUCPA, I had the wonderful experience of meeting and working with Amy for the first time in person for Water Communion 2022. I asked her to act like a water molecule in the service, and she was 100% on board and in character. Not every boss would do this, especially on the first day. There are so many great things to say about Amy, but I want to thank her for her calm leadership and support during COVID. I never thought I would have a minister who could recommend epic and heartfelt science fiction, including authors I had never read, and I honor Amy's good taste with agreement that the burrito bar lunch is one of our best second Sunday menus. I applaud her for beginning and supporting the two sacred text groups that lead to many rich conversations. Amy's support and active participation in the UUCPA Mission Task Force was crucial to the creation and adoption of our new mission statement. I remember being delighted at finding out that Amy used to live around the corner from us in Mountain View before we started going to UUCPA, in a house where Theda's old housemate lived as a beautiful example of the way we are all interconnected. Amy's ability to capture all the many wonderful qualities and personality aspects of a loved one when speaking about them at a memorial service has enabled me to appreciate so much more about the person and their rich life that I feel I've been able to spend decades with them and made the experience of that memorial service so memorable. And from me, personally, I want to thank you, Amy, for your beautiful sermons under the pine trees at Bass Lake, for being an honorary member of the Flying Zambinis, for sermons about Harry Potter, for narrating the many wonderful no-rehearsal Christmas pageants, and for all the times you have shared your beautiful singing voice with us. Of course, these capture only a handful of reflections on what makes Amy so great. And while I could go on and on, one of the other things that we appreciate about her is her ability to keep the service on time. So I'll try not to mess with that. I will suggest, so for the rest of you, I suggest that you think of your own sentence about Amy and then share it with her over cake after the service. Amy, on behalf of the entire congregation, let me congratulate you on your 20th anniversary. We loved our first 20 years with you, and we look forward to many more. And I will ask you if you would like a hug.
Thank you, thank you. There are so many more of you, and I have many sentences for everyone, including many, many people who are not here. So I will not try to respond, even over cake, but I will try to express myself in writing sometime over the next several days. Wow. Okay. Thank you. That's really your reflection? That was it? We need someone to open a box. Come on up, Robert. My reputation for getting the service done on time is seriously on the line here. It's cake, it doesn't go cold. Caring and sharing. Thank you. I do not want to give that short shrift. Is that it for that box? Yay. The big blue box had caring and sharing in it. That's a sci-fi reference for those who get it. If you know, you know. It's a Doctor Who thing. Okay. Caring and sharing is our time for opening our hearts to one another, for sharing if we wish. Some people share in writing before the service or via Zoom their joys and sorrows. If you haven't yet shared it, then please do post it in the chat box provided by Zoom. And I will do my best to see that far. Let's just take a moment to feel the blessing. Feel the blessing of being here with one another and our joys and our sorrows, our illnesses and recoveries, our questions. It is good to share this life. Barbara, my dear, would you open a box for us? This one? Or this one? Or this one?
The little baby box.
Open it up and tell us what's in it.
Is it gonna pop in my,
I promise it won't.
I'm gonna open it in front of you, just for a
Good plan.
That's our box.
That's what the worship associate is here for. Oh, there are two. Just one. Just read us one. Postlude. Jim, it is time for your postlude. Thank you, Barbara.
When this song was written, there were still participants of the First World War. And John McCutcheon would be singing this song to his audiences, and there were a group of very old men in suits, fedora hats, started attending every concert. And it started to freak John McCutcheon out. So who are they and what's this? So he approached them and they said, "You are telling our story." This happened not in just one place, but in numerous places, and has probably happened during every war, including today, I hope. Oh, my name is Francis Tolliver. I come from Liverpool. 2 years ago, the war was waiting for me after school. To Belgium and to Flanders, to Germany, to here, I fought for king and country I loved dear. 'Twas Christmas in the trenches, where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were still, no Christmas songs were sung. Our families back in England were toasting us that day. They're brave and glorious lads, so far away. I was lying with my messmate on the cold and rocky ground, when across the lines of battle came a most peculiar sound. Says I, "Now listen up, me boys," each soldier strained to hear, as one lone German voice sang out so clear. "He's singing bloody well, you know," my partner says to me. Soon one by one each German voice sang in harmony, with the cannons rested silent and the gas clouds rolled no more, as Christmas brought us respite from the war. Now as soon as they were finished and a grateful pause was spent, "God rest ye merry gentlemen," struck up some lads from Kent. The next they sang was Stille Nacht, "'Tis silent night," says I, and in two tongues one song filled up that sky. "There's someone coming towards us," the frontline sentry cried. All sights were fixed on one lone figure trudging from their side. His truce flag like a Christmas star shone on the field so bright, as he bravely strode unarmed into the night. Soon one by one on either side walked into no man's land. With neither gun nor bayonet, we met there hand to hand. We shared some secret brandy, and we wished each other well. And in a flare-lit soccer match, we gave 'em hell. We traded chocolates and cigarettes and photographs of home. These sons and fathers far away from families of their own. Young Sanders played his squeeze box, and they had a violin. This curious and unlikely band of men. Soon daylight stole upon us, and France was France once more. With sad farewells, we each prepared to settle back to war. But the question haunted every heart that lived that wondrous night: whose family have I fixed within my sights? 'Twas Christmas in the trenches, where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were warm, as Christmas songs were sung. For the walls they kept between us to exact that work of war had crumbled and were gone forevermore. Oh, my name is Francis Tolliver, in Liverpool I dwell. Each Christmas come since World War I, I've learned its lessons well. That the ones who call the shots won't be among the dead and lame. And on each end of the rifle, we're the same. The king in the day heard this story because they court-martialed the officers that participated, but he commuted the sentence saying, "It's hard to imagine that it even happened."
Jim, will you do one more thing for us?
Certainly.
How about that?
But it might be a surprise.
I hope so. I'm counting on it.
Okay.
Something in there?
Centering words.
Brian, centering words for us. Thank you.
These are written by Ruth Ozeki. Never be afraid of not knowing, young man. Not knowing is the practice of poets and sages. And I know what the next box is. It has to be the anthem. There's nothing left.
Ring the bell.
2 boxes. Oh, ring the bell. Anthem. I'm not sure what they're going to sing, but let's.
This one? Our patient choir.
So the choir was supposed to sing a wonderful anthem this morning called The Music of Life, but I was sitting here listening to Amy, and I had an epiphany that maybe we should just let it be a mystery. I wonder if there's somebody that can think of an anthem that we should sing this morning. Brian, you're worship associate. What do you think? That is such a great idea. What a great way to celebrate Amy's return and her 20 wonderful years. Veronica, apparently there's a song called Once in Love with Amy. Do you think if you could you fake it?
I'll do my best.
I hope the choir knows it.
I think you got the music for that.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I guess I get to open the last box.
You know what? We are almost half an hour late, so we are not going, I mean, I know we're having a wonderful time, but we are not going to do the recommitment and affirmation, which, I guess that's it. Oh, wait a second. Oh my gosh, there's a box I forgot to put out here. Oh, it's our benediction. Oh, yay. Our spoken benediction has, the words are here in your order of service. Oh, let me make sure I've got my instructions right. I'm a little rusty. I want to make sure, if you don't know the routine, that I tell you what it is. Whether you're online or here in the main hall, I'm going to go to the back here. Please stay after the benediction for our conversation time. We all begin with greeting time, wherever we are. A chance to speak to someone you haven't met before or haven't seen in a while. Embrace the unknown. Is this really on? I have my doubts. Now, if you're online, please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and touch hands in some virtual way while we say our benediction together. You all know here, if you are more comfortable crossing your arms and just feeling the presence of one another, we all know that we are connected, whether you're comfortable holding hands or not. Let us say our words together. Go out into the world in peace, be of good courage, hold fast to what is good, reach where no one